Right, so let's continue with our ranges.py program to look at a few more things we can do with ranges. If you want to use a range just to repeat a block of code a certain number of times, then there's no need to provide a start value. If you don't provide a start value, it defaults to 0. So I'm going to change the code there and delete the comma 16. So we've just got 10 in parentheses. And if we run the program now, you can see the program has actually gone through 10 times. 0 down to 9. Now we get the values from 0 to 9 because the start value defaults to 0 and obviously it's not included on line 1. So what else can we do? Well, we can provide a step value to our ranges. If we do that, we have to specify a start as well. Otherwise, if I try and add just a step to our existing code, comma 2, Python then interprets what I've typed as starting at 10 and going up by 2. The default step value is 1, and you can't count from 10 to 2 in steps of 1 and expect to get any values. So if we run the program as is, we get no output at all on the screen. So to get the values from 0 to 10 in steps of 2, because we're using steps, we have to specify a start value, and I'm going to enter the value 0 here. So 0, 10, 2. And now if we run that, you can see it gives us the values we wanted, 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. Note that we didn't get 10 printed out. If you recall, ranges go up to but not including the stop value, just like slices, and as we discussed in the previous video. Now if you want to count backwards, you can use a negative step range. So what we need to do then, because we're going backwards, we need to swap the start and end. So we're going to start at 10, go down to 0, and the step is going to be a minus number, minus 2. If I do that now and run it, you can see we get the values 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. So the start value has to be greater than the stop value when using a negative step for obvious reasons. For the same reason as we didn't get 10 in the previous output when we're stepping up, we don't get 0 when using a negative step. Alright, so that's an introduction now to the range class. We haven't created very exciting code here, but we've seen how to create ranges of values to iterate over. Now something else you can do with a range is check if a value is in it. Let's open the conditions.py program from a previous video that we've worked on. You can see it here, conditions.py, so I'm going to open that up. Right, so there's our code from that program. Now in line 4, we're checking to see if age is between 16 and 65 inclusive. We could use a range instead. Now I'm not saying that you should use a range here, and the current code is the most efficient way of performing that test, but let's see how to do the same thing using a range. So I'm going to comment out that first line, line 4. I'm going to replace it with if age in range, and in parentheses 16, 66, right parentheses and a colon. Because the last value isn't included in a range, I had to use 66 as the stop value rather than 65. So let's run the program to confirm that it still works. How old are you? Let's test the value 16 first. Have a good day at work. Run it again. We'll try it with 65. That works okay. Run it again, this time with 15. Enjoy your free time. And one more time, we'll try it with, say, the value 75. So clearly that's working as it should. So you saw that I tested it with a variety of values to make sure it's okay. So make sure you do that whenever you're testing your programs to make sure you're actually giving a proper and comprehensive test. And obviously I could do a lot more testing, but we've done a basic amount of testing to confirm that the codes are working pretty well as it should. Now, as I mentioned previously, the code that's now commented out on line 4 is more efficient, but testing if a value is in a range can be useful. And for that reason, I've demonstrated how to do that. Right, so I'm going to stop the video here. In the next one, we'll start looking at nested for loops. See you in the next video.